YouTube, what it do? I done figured it out. Telling you, I done figured it out. Tanking has been one of the biggest problems in the NBA since 1984. NBA draft lottery was created in order to add some randomness and eliminate tanking in the NBA, or at least that's what David Stern thought. He created the lottery so teams wouldn't just lose games and have a guaranteed number one pick. But in also doing this, it didn't fix the problem. It kind of almost instilled the problem a little bit more. See, now in today's NBA world, the system is if you're the worst team, you have the highest odds to get the number one pick. Does not guarantee you're even going to remain top 5 inside of this bracket. So even being the worst team in the NBA does not guarantee you a top 5 pick. But why are they losing these games? They're losing because they want to win. They want to rebuild, restructure their team for the next year to be able to compete in later years. But what if you're outside of that top 5 range? You know, it kind of gets a little bit shaky. What if you're 11th worst team? Should you have odds of getting a first round pick over teams that's really competing to get the first round pick? Where's the fairness in that, if you get what I'm saying? Where is the equal of value in that? So it pretty much dilutes the pool of the draft, and there's no real, it's just random. I have a system in place that can bring more engagement to these bad team games and eliminate taking as a whole. You believe me? Stick around to find out. Right before I get into the rest of the video, make sure y'all please subscribe. It will help a lot, improve the channel. Leave a like and tap into each of these individuals. Bing bow, you know what I'm saying? We got more stuff coming up, and yeah, stay tuned, shorty. Hey now. Hey. So I'm not really honestly though, I'm not blaming the teams for tanking because it's honestly a smart strategy. Anybody knows if you're bad one season, you're gonna be a top pick for be better next season. Cool. That strategy. But the way about that strategy is why they're tanking. The system in place is why they're tanking. If we could redesign that and just reward teams that are bad for winning, and I'll get to that point in a second. The system I have in place is pretty simple. Losing does not equal better odds. Losing does not equal a higher draft pick. Because in my system, I have the 2 worst teams in the East and the 2 worst teams in the West. Create the 4 bottom of the whole league. You take those 4 teams and you see how they individually rank against each other in the head-to-head matchups, just almost similar to how the play-in is. I mean, not the play-in, the in-season tournament. How the in-season tournament has, their group A, group B, group C. But instead of adding a group A or group B to this, because I feel like that would just be, theatrical. It's not. It's lame, honestly. If you was to add a draft group A, draft group B, I honestly feel like there's no need because it's just simple. It's just simple system in place. It doesn't need to have a flashy name to it of the group. None of that. 2 worst in the East, 2 worst in the West. How did they match up against each other? So whoever had the most wins out of that group, out of just those 4 teams, and those 4 teams will be 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the draft. Whoever won the most games out of those 4 in terms of each other, their peers in their group, that's who gets the number 1 pick. And it will trickle down from whoever won the most to who won the least in their group. You might ask, how does that change anything about tanking or anything about teams wanting to lose to get higher draft picks? Well, now, if this system is in place now, you do not get rewarded for losing the most games now. It's how did you rank up against the teams that lost the most games as well? How did you match up against the same teams that won less games as you did? It's not so, okay, I lost as more than them, so I have a higher chance than them now. No. How did y'all compete? It's more of a reward system for competition. And that's what we're aiming for. We're aiming for a competition-based league. And same thing with 5 through 8. I feel like that should be the same exact method. You take the next 2 worst in the East, the next 2 worst in the West, and how did they rank up against each other between those 4? Now you have picks 5 through 8 based off of the record between their peers. I could show you a better visual representation of what I'm saying. So here we have the East standings, right? We have the Nets and the Pacers. Both 15 wins, both 15-win seasons, not really doing much for the season wise, you know what I'm saying? But they're still competing. They're still out there. Right now, they're just fighting to see who could lose the most games to get the better odds. But what if it wasn't like that? What if it was the Nets, Pacers, Pelicans, Kings? That would be bracket A. If the season ended today. We don't know if this is how the season will end today because the Jazz, they're doing their little feng shui, you know what I'm saying? They're trying to lose as many games as they can to get the highest odds, sitting players, not playing guys. But what if it wasn't like that? What if you had these 4 teams and you individually go and see who won between those matchups? Yes, it would be more legwork for the NBA to find out who won the matchups, what's the point differential, if it came down to a tiebreaker, because that's what ultimately would be the tiebreaker, point differential. That eliminates the sitting your guys, in fourth quarters, because these points matter. Early in the season, I don't know if this game might matter in terms of my draft position and later down the season, so I would really want to try to win this game. Middle of the season, my team is bad, but I play another bad team 2 weeks later. Now this is my playoff game. Why? Because it automatically determines where I will rank at in my draft class. Will I be 4 or will I be 2? This game determines that. 9 and 10, I feel it's pretty simple. And especially since they added the play-in, because on the play-in, it allows 10 teams to try out for a playoff game, a playoff spot, So what does that leave 11, the 11th worst team? It leaves them on the brink of play-in. They had the chance to make the play-in. They're battling to try to make the play-in all year. They ultimately fall short on the cusp, so they get picks 9 and 10. Simple. Worst to best record. Who had the worst record in 9? Who had the best record out of the 11 teams? Is 10. And then from there on, we go 11 through 30 NFL style. You got elimination. Who lost in the play-in? That go 11 through 14 inside the regular season. Then you got the first round exit. Worst to best record out of the regular season. You got the second round exits. You got worst to best record out of the second round exits. Conference. You got worst to best record out of that. Runner up, 29th pick, 30, the championship team. What about teams that are rebuilding and, they just so happen to just be worse than the other worst team? Well, they still get a top spot. 1 through 4, you're still getting a top 4 prospect in the draft. But you don't have the opportunity to go 5 or a team that's 11th to jump over top of you and get the first spot, how we seen Cooper Flag just go to the Dallas Mavericks, who was the 11th worst team in the NBA last year. You don't get conspiracy theories like the Patrick Ewing and the envelope markings on, lottery day, because it would be merit-based and competition-based. You don't know if you would need this game or need this win later down the season. So what would that do psychologically for your team? We have to win this game regardless. There's no, okay, I can lose this game here. You don't know that. You don't know if I'm the second worst team in the NBA. I don't know that this is going to be the first worst team in the NBA yet. The season just started. So I'm out there competing early, trying to go get it. Middle of the season, I see how the stand is looking already. I see you could kind of get a feel for who's the worst teams, who the best teams are going to be middle of the season. So now those Pelicans and the Jazz games that like we have today, like we have going on right now, really mean something. This game here really means something. Why? Because it has a direct implication on what's going on in the draft next season. What does that do for the fans? Give them more engagement on their bad team. If my team is bad, shoot, forget it. You know what I'm saying? It's a wash till next season. All right. We're going to lose enough games to get a top pick. It is what it is. But now if winning is incentivized instead of losing being incentivized, now we have an almost playoff matchup between these two teams that are competing for something now, or in this system now, competing for nothing. Right now, it's a tank off. Who could lose this game better? The Jazz look like they're winning. Jazz look like they're winning. Why do they look like they're winning? Because if they lose this game, they will be directly tied with the Pelicans. And what does that mean for the Pelicans? Well, they'll look like they'll have the same odds as the Utah Jazz. Hey, how the cookie crumbles, I suppose. Especially when losing is incentivized. See, I'm not taking away rebuilding. That's not what I'm doing at all. I'm not eliminating rebuilding. I'm not stopping teams from rebuilding. All my system does, it makes rebuilding competitive. A bad team still gets a top pick, but they have to earn that positioning inside the draft against teams of their same caliber and their same tier. The NBA draft is flawed. It's random. It's it's a soap opera. It's a drama at the end of the season. It doesn't have to be though. We could have it strictly merit based, win based, competitive between all teams. The NBA has shown it's possible. The NBA has shown it's possible with the in-season tournament. You got different groups of teams. Point differential matters. Record within the group setting matters. Whoever wins, go. You go to the next round of the in-season tournament. All I'm doing is implementing that system to the draft now. I think it's a pretty interesting idea, and the NBA should give it a try. Because what they're doing now is not improving anything towards tanking. They're talking about free agency for rookies now. Like, what rookie do you know is going to want to go to Utah right now, as they're currently constructed? You might, they're building a little bit in Utah, slowly but sure. Yes, but nobody is choosing that as their first destination off the flap. You know what I'm saying? It's incentivize winning, and you'll get winning. You'll get teams competing to try to win. If you incentivize losing, then you're going to always have a tanking problem. Because if I lose, I'm rebuilding. But you're saying I can't rebuild because I'm tanking. Make the math. How can I rebuild in a smaller market and get a higher draft pick if I don't lose? Exactly. I'm not saying they have to win every single game if they're a bad team. I'm saying they have to win inside of what's already inside of their bracket, inside of the standings. And then, 11 through 30, straight NFL style. So all I'm calling for is a merit-based draft where winning matters. No more tanking, and every game counts. Seems fair to the fans. Ain't that what we're asking for? For fan entertainment. It makes must-see TV out of bad teams. I'm sorry, it just does. It will make a Kings-Nets game relevant. It will make a Pacers-Pelicans game relevant. Today, in February 28th of 2026, it would make a Pelicans-Nets game interesting. Not only for the fans of the Pacers and the Pelicans, but also just fans of the NBA, because they're getting competitive basketball. Basketball that really means something in the back end of the season, after the All-Star break, for a team that has not been competing for anything since, let's say, September. Since the offseason. It's an idea that you should really tap into, Adam Silver. They say tanking hurts fan enjoyment. That's one big thing ESPN has been saying. Adam Silver has been saying. I seen Kendrick Perks talking about it. How their teams are just trying to lose these games and they're sitting their guys. Sir, my team had 15 wins. Do you think I care about my team sitting out? Are you serious? Are you serious? You can't be. Cannot be. If I'm a Jazz fan, you think I give a damn that Lauri Markkanen is not playing right now? No, nigga. We're done. We fuck around and don't even get a chance to finish with 25 wins on the season. And you want me to think And you want me to believe that Utah Jazz fans care more about their players sitting than trying to get a higher draft pick. But teams tank because they need elite talent and an elite reset strictly by the draft. The draft is the cheapest way to acquire stars, and the lottery rewards bottoming out. Simple.